Underground Bunker. This is your proprietor. It's Tuesday afternoon. I've just left the courthouse here in Garden City, New York. Nassau Supreme Court. I've been coming here a few times over the last couple of years on this case involving a couple named David Smith and Susan Goldsmith, who originally filed lawsuits against a number of private investigators, all of whom have settled and dropped out, leaving only the one sole defendant, Yanti Michael Green. And we've been writing about this guy for a few years. The reason we got interested is that when they sued him, the Smiths were able to get Yanti Green's text messages out of his phone, out of the cloud, and they revealed that not only was he surveilling Susan Goldsmith, but he was also, as part of this PI firm called IIG, working for Scientology. He was working for the Church of Scientology, and he was specifically following Leah Remini when she was here in New York in 2017 filming a movie with Jennifer Lopez. That's when I got really interested, because you don't usually get the private text messages of a Scientology private investigator. Very interesting case. I wrote about that for the Daily Beast, and we've been following this case. But the case really isn't about Scientology, but I'm still fascinated by it, because this is a retired New York Police Department detective who is accused by Suzanne Goldsmith of surveilling her at the time on behalf of her husband. They later reconciled. And she was her attorney was saying in his opening statement today that surveillance was so intense, around the clock, 7 days a week, that she finally just gave up and said, "Okay, you guys, what do you want?" And they told her, "Well, listen, if you just tell us where you're going today, it'll be easier on you, it'll be easier on us." And so she eventually became kind of friendly with these private investigators, just as a way to make her life easier. But according to her attorney's opening statement today, that turned into this bizarre relationship where they were becoming part of her social life, and to the point where this several of them got physical with her and kissed her, that kind of thing. But that she accuses Yanti Michael Green of going much farther. And it was her attorney's allegation in the opening statement today that twice he forced himself on her. I was only aware of the one time, but apparently twice. And the second time, she claims she was incapacitated. Now, what makes all this a lot more believable is not just what she says, especially since she was blacked out and doesn't remember it, but that he videotaped himself in this encounter. And what's even more troubling is once the court ordered him to turn over that videotape, he edited down to a very small portion that video and claimed to the court that he didn't rape her, she raped him. Well, as we found out a couple years ago, as I reported at the Underground Bunker, Suzanne Goldsmith and David Smith, they were able to get the original footage off of the cloud through an expert, showed that to the judge, and she was so disgusted by what she saw, she found him, Yanti Michael Green, in contempt to the tune of $300,000. He was trying to snow the court. I mean, that's been established. He shot 11 minutes of himself with this incapacitated woman and then tried to fool the court by only submitting a minute or two. That's what's so troubling about this case. Well, today, Suzanne Goldsmith's attorney laid all that out about how, this is a retired cop who turned PI and then took advantage of this woman and raped her. And then, Yanti Michael Green, during the case, changed his name legally and moved to another state. Well, you know why. He doesn't want this case following him around. Now he is Michael Moretti Ford Cruz. But everybody calls him Green in the courthouse because it's just less confusing. And it was he's pro se. He's defending himself. He doesn't have an attorney. He did have an attorney early on, but not anymore. So, I mean, I knew Suzanne Goldsmith's story, basically. I kind of knew what the attorney was going to say, and Dan Salkowitz is his name. He did a very, very good job laying out the basics of the case. But then it was Yanti Michael Green's turn to get up there and give his own opening statement. And it was really interesting. I mean, look, this guy was a detective. He must have been in lots of court cases. He's no dummy. He knows how to handle himself in court. He gave an alternate version. Basically, he was just trashing her. Oh, Judge, she's actually a very bad person, and she went out all the time, and she was fighting for custody of the kids. She didn't have her kids. She didn't have a job. I wasn't sure how that was supposed to help him, right? Because ultimately, his opening statement amounted to, yeah, we had sex, but she wanted it. Now, see, remember, and I kept pointing this out. I've been pointing this out for years. It's so bizarre. There's this very small woman, very tall, powerful man, and she's claiming, he raped her when she was incapacitated. He's saying she raped him. And, her attorney today said, to kind of put a point on it, that he's saying that she overpowered him. Well, during his opening statement, he made a point of that. Yanti Green said, I'm saying she raped me, but I'm not saying she overpowered me. And then he went further and said, she just really wanted it and I gave in. He said that a few times, and I just thought, wow, that really undercuts what he's been saying before. He's been trying to tell people that he was raped and that the video proves it. And then it turns out the video doesn't prove it. And now he's not even saying that. He's saying she wanted it really bad and I gave in. And he used some real salty language, things that she supposedly said about his body. Very gross. And, but, he's really banking on the fact that there was a third person with them that second night when she was so incapacitated. And that was her friend, Courtroom D'Amato. Yes, the estranged wife of former U.S. Senator Al D'Amato. I'm not exactly sure what the state of their marriage is. I know they had a very, very public, nasty divorce in 2017, 2018. I don't know that it was 100% final. I got to look into that. But no question, they had a wicked battle, Al D'Amato and his wife, Courtroom. And Yanti Michael Green is banking on the idea that Courtroom is going to come in on Friday and testify that he's telling the truth and that Suzanne is not. So that could be pretty wild. I know they were, today's, we had opening statements and then Suzanne's first witness, who was her good friend, Cheryl Nino, who seemed very credible and was basically backing up the things that Dan, her attorney, had said in the opening statement, but she admitted it was secondhand. Yes, Suzanne told me this, she told me that. I thought the judge was paying very close attention. It's Judge Leonard, oh gosh, I'm going to forget his name already. Neiman, I think it was. I'll correct it on the notes if I mess up. But he was asking some real good questions of her. She seemed very credible, and she was already starting to build a case that Courtroom D'Amato is not the most credible person. So, but Yanti Michael Green kept pointing out she's a town judge. She's got to be credible. So we're going to hear some experts over the next couple of days, and then I think on Friday there'll be some fireworks because Courtroom D'Amato will be in the courtroom, and we'll see what she's got to say about her former friend Suzanne Goldsmith. Hey, it's I don't know. I find it an interesting case. I just think it's amazing that Yanti Michael Green, so much of this evidence, the video evidence, suggests that Suzanne's telling the truth, but he hasn't faced any criminal charges in this. He did have a criminal contempt with the court, but they fined him. So yeah, interesting case. I'm glad I schlepped out here, and I know since there's not Scientology involvement in the trial itself, I know maybe some of you aren't that interested, but I don't know. To me, there were a lot of echoes today from the Danny Masterson case, Danny Masterson trials last year, as far as what these women are saying, and that Suzanne feels like she was roofied, just like Danny Masterson's victims did. So anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, and thank you for hanging out with me today. And I hope, we got another big story coming this week too. I got to get it out. Oh, so much going on, people. Well, from the Nassau County Supreme Court in beautiful Garden City, New York on Long Island, this is your proprietor signing out.